You guys know the world's continents. If you count Antarctica, we have 7 continents. But right now, I want to talk about one continent, and that's South America, that has 12 different countries. Some of these countries are huge and powerful, but some are small and poor. So in this video, we want to see what will happen if we turn South America into one singular country. It's good to know that North America was dissected into different pieces. Like for example, the 13 original colonies were from different European countries. But the people thought, why should we be separated? Let's all unite and create a strong country. And that exactly happened. So we want to take the same idea to South America and see if we can actually do that. We're going to name it United States of South America. We have to say that this powerful country will be huge. And that's in a way that it will be bigger than Russia. So it's gonna be the biggest country in the world. And that's 17.8 million kilometers squared. And that's in a way where Russia is 17.1 million kilometers squared. It's gonna have a lot of people too. There's going to be 423 million people living here. So United States of South America is going to be powerful by population. But we have to say that more than 50% of the people are located in Brazil, because Brazil by itself has 214 million people. Our new country here is going to be the 3rd most populated country in the world. And as you know, China is the most populated country in the world. Then we have India. Then it's going to be the United States of South America. We all know a power of a country is not only the population and landmass. One of the most important things is money. So first, let's figure out what the GDP of this new country is gonna be. Right now in the world, US has the #1 GDP with $21.5 trillion. China is second with $14.2 trillion. Japan is third with $5 trillion. And Germany is fourth with $3.8 trillion. So this giant new country with this many people is only gonna have a GDP of $3.6 trillion. And that's gonna put it in 5th place after Germany. And it's good to know that most of this GDP comes from Brazil. A country is powerful when the entire population knows one language, like the US, where everybody knows English. China, everybody knows Mandarin. Russia, everybody knows Russian. India has a lot of different languages, but they have one connected language that everybody should know. This language used to be Farsi, but when the British took over, they made that language into English. But when everybody knows one language, it's extremely important for the power. South America had a lot of people immigrated to there, and the people that live there aren't actually native to that land. Most of these people came from Europe, and that is why there was a lot of different languages in this continent. Like in Guiana, everybody speaks English. Suriname, everybody speaks Dutch. French Guiana, everybody speaks French. From Venezuela all the way to Argentina, everybody speaks Spanish. But Brazil doesn't speak Spanish, but they speak Portuguese. This is a very interesting type of soup. If a population of a country can't communicate, there is no real power anymore. But because of Brazil alone, more than half of the population of this country has to speak Portuguese. These were the main languages. In South America alone, there's so many native languages that you could pick thousands of different languages up. These were the native languages that are still here today. It's good to know that South America is ahead of India and has the most amount of languages in one place. You have to know that in Canada, there's 2 languages. Their main language is English, but Quebec, this part of Canada, speaks French. Even though Canada doesn't have many people and there's only 2 languages, but that's the major issue for the country, because if someone doesn't know French, they cannot work in Quebec. But let's say we fix the language issue and we want to form a government. What should we do? Where is the government going to be at? Unfortunately, corruption in South American countries are crazy, and you can find corruption in pretty much all the countries, like Brazil all the way to the smaller ones. If you ask experts, they say a union for this continent would be better than something like the USA. So they should turn it into a place like the EU rather than the US. But that's not really gonna work for a place like this, because there's a lot of dictators in charge, and they're not gonna accept going away or listening to another leader. Like for example, Maduro is not gonna take any order from anyone, or Bolsonaro, the president of Brazil, is not gonna listen to the other ones. Where's the capital gonna be? There's 2 cities in this continent that are the most advanced. One is Sao Paulo in Brazil, and the other one is Buenos Aires in Argentina. But making a government in this continent, the government is not the only issue. In the entire continent, some of the cartels have more powerful than some of the governments. Forget about the power, but just the cartels being there causes an unsafe play, and the lack of safety makes the idea not worth it. Left wing and right wing is very important in this continent too. Brazil is right wing. The other ones, except a few countries, are left wing. But in this country, the most normal one is Argentina. Their parliament is left wing, but the government is in the middle, and they swing both ways. But experts say the whole population of South America, a higher percentage lean towards the right rather than the left. And if there is an election, a right-wing president will be chosen. Let's say we made the country and we made a palace for the president. We chose a capital as well. What about the army? All 12 countries in this continent have their own small and big armies. Some armies powerful and the others are nothing, and the cartels are actually stronger than them. Brazil comes first place in this situation too. It has the most powerful army in South America and is the 8th most powerful in the world. But which one is the second most powerful? You might not believe it, but in this continent, Colombia has the most powerful army. But it could not compete with the Brazilian army. Colombia is 20th in the world. These 2 are the most important ones, and the other countries' armies are not important. You might ask, what about Argentina or Chile? But we have to say that the last war that took place around this area was the Falkland War that took place in 1982. There's an island next to South America, and the Argentinians say it's ours and it's called Malvinas, but the British have control and they call it the Falkland Island. In the year 1982, these 2 had a 2-week war, and you could say Argentina lost very badly, and after this war, you could say they never recovered. But let's look at some small countries in this continent. Like for example, French Guiana is a part of France, and that means it's part of the European Union, and its currency is euros. This is the farthest country that's in the EU, farthest from the continent of Europe. A lot of people don't know that this part is part of the EU as well. It's good to know that in the year 2010, there was an election and they asked the people, do you guys want to be independent or do you like to be a part of France and stay in the European Union? 70% of the French Guiana citizens said that they would like to stay with France and be in the EU. This little country didn't vote for independence. Just imagine asking them to be a part of the whole continent. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a solution to unite all these countries together and help them create a very powerful country.